You guys, in this clip, I have another modern day example of black people just doing too much. And in this clip, it's basically the downfall of Leticia James, the New York AG. It makes absolutely no sense for that poor lady to have been so aggressive in her pursuit of Donald Trump. She realizes that even before he got involved in politics, he's a very powerful, rich, and well connected white man in the United States of America. People on the level of Donald Trump are like the equivalent of royalty in England. It's some people you just don't mess with unless you have to. If Donald Trump was actively and openly his whole life around every corner attacking black people, and it stood out more than what normal, rich, powerful white men in the United States do, then you just treat him like you treat the other rich, powerful white men. You leave him alone. Don't let the Democratic Party get you messed up. And that's what happened here. This lady, the other poor lady over there in Georgia, I mean, it's why the black women, why the black men, even what's going on with Eric Adams. He was a loyal Democrat, a loyal Democratic mayor over in New York, taking all these immigrants in that were just flooding the country and pulling from his city's resources, pissing his constituency off. And then when he can't do it no more, and this was during Biden, he was having little beefs with Biden, and he can't do it no more, and all of a sudden he's a bad guy. I mean, that's what I'm saying. We cannot continue to fight a fight for our enemy. And I'm clearly saying exactly what I said. The Democrats are our enemy. And the Republicans are too. But we need to worry about the Democrats right now because that is the party that in large numbers us black people are supporting. Now, if you black and you looking at this like I'm black and I'm speaking these words, I don't consider myself a Democrat. But I consider myself the Harriet Tubman of YouTube because I'm going to take this platform and do the best that I can do to get as many black people who do still support the Democratic Party and get them off that plantation and get and the clearest and pure, no matter what I say and how many times I say it, the purest way that I can communicate this to you is to don't be fooled or duped into believing you have a choice between the Democrats and the Republicans. There's a third choice. And that third choice is yourself and your race and your people who have been deprived and neglected and abused their whole time under the rule of white people. And let's start communicating it in that way, and it'll empower you to get away from them easier and to know that you don't have to walk away from the Democrats and walk over to the Republicans. You can walk away from the Democrats and begin to empower yourself and realize that we fought so hard for the Civil Rights Act of the mid 60s, the Civil Rights Voting Act and all that in the 60s, which during that time we felt it was what we needed. But from where we were then to where we are right now, maybe that wasn't the thing. Maybe we could have used our citizenship in a way to make them come and request it and come and make offerings for it, as opposed to us taking it and just running in a ballot and oh my God, and you're so excited. Well, your either choice is a losing one. So why wouldn't you just hold on to your vote until one of them come to you and request it and it gives you offerings? That just makes way more sense. But I guess the best thing that we can do is continue to pound it into your head and hopefully the community will grow, and hopefully most of us will begin to say, you know what? That dude Black Popcorn don't hate me. He's black like we black. What is his motive? What is his incentive for getting on here and talking bad about Democrats? He just don't know nothing. Well, obviously he knows something. He was able to tune this mic in all by himself. So he did something. But you guys gotta dig within, look within. Quit isolating yourself from the few resources that we have. And that's our own selves. So many black people who have burned bridges or said no go on this person or this particular part of their life that could be way more beneficial to them, but they'd rather slam that door and then to use that resource and go and run errands for the Democrats, because it's the Democrats who wanted Trump bad. They doing impeachment after impeachment, investigation after investigation. It would be hard to live in the United States of America and not think Trump's a bad person, because it's been nothing but bad propaganda against him. If a group of people railed against Biden the way they're railing against Trump, he would have a negative taste when his name comes up in your mouth. But he doesn't, because they didn't rail against him that way. He got all kind of shit you could have brought up and pounded into people, and they would have hated him the same way. And when you look at that kind of propaganda and that kind of power, I just look at the results. If he was everything that they say he is, he wouldn't be back in the White House, and he would be in prison. And if he is back in the White House, then and it's because that's the way this country, the level that we operate on, then don't be mad at him, because he's able to navigate this country better than we are. And we still ain't got it, because we are still making it better for the Democrats to navigate their way about the country, but not to help us get up to a point where we can navigate our own way and navigate around this country just like they do. And they'll be seeing us over there doing things that they didn't tell us to go do, seeing us doing things that we decided to do on our own, not go prosecute powerful white men in the United States of America. That is not a good thing to do. Donald Trump would be Donald Trump whether he is the president or not. You'd still know who he is the way you know him, except they weren't railing against him with the racist stuff until he got and started dabbling into their politics and things got personal. Up until 2012 or 13, when he started looking like he might do it, then you started hearing things. But prior to that, he was drinking with the Clintons, hanging out with them at all the kind of, I guess what you would call the cool events for like the people who get into MMA and boxing. And he had a lot of black folks like Mike Tyson, who was his homies and friends and chilling with him. And for him to go from just being looked at as a really, really rich man, and nobody just comes out with it, like any professional sports team owner or any CEO at a bank, you just assume in the United States they racist. You just don't look at them as just being philanthropists who just give money to the NAACP or nothing. You just kind of get a feeling, be it true or not, that they're racist. Yeah, they racist. Donald Trump was looked at as probably your run-of-the-mill average normal racist. Now they got him looking like the Grand Wizard of the KKK and our public enemy number one, to the point of where our AGs feel that it's their life's work to take him out. And Congress, and see those guys up there in Congress, they're not attacking Trump directly, individually. They're kind of using their little majority that they had to impeach and just mess around with them and annoy him, because that's what they were doing. It's like swatting flies. Like, God damn it, more annoying than anything, because he is back as the president of the United States. So we should know that if one half of this country is the Democrats and the other half is the Republicans. And then they give us another party for the people who want to vent. Those are the, what are we? Shit. I don't even think that they should call us independents because it's more of like a, remission. You know what I mean? We're going to get back out there and we're going to be Republicans or Democrats. But this is our way of going into remission and, letting the two cancers kind of fight each other for a little while because we're going to be back in the fight. I know I am. I ain't going to sit here and tell you guys I'm not because I'm too connected to black people. I went to school with them. I worked with them. I'm related to them. They're my family, they're my friends, they're my people. And it would be impossible to just walk away and be like, dum, because I wouldn't be any stronger without them and they won't be any stronger without me. It's very important that we communicate with each other. A lot of people want to continue to repeat what they've always heard without coming up with one original thought. Without coming up with one original thought that is yours, that you, based on the information and the news and the actions of your politicians, local and federal levels, have done, and then base your opinion on your own thought and not what someone else told you. Hey man, there's a guy on YouTube named Black Popcorn. He don't know what the fuck he talking about. Oh, really? Let me check him out. Yeah, he sure don't. Because Black Popcorn ain't saying what y'all always heard. He ain't saying what you gonna go on MSNBC and hear. He's not gonna go and say that because it really is my original feelings, my original thoughts. That if 85% of us can all feel so strongly about being Democrats, and that's a party that over the last 60 years has not done anything for us. And that's where I always seem to get people upset. It hasn't done anything for us. What? We're not back in slavery. They quit lynching us. I don't know. I just think we're at a point right now, folks, where we got to turn that corner and we got to bring some folks with us. And I feel it's my responsibility and it's your responsibility too, if you know what I'm talking about. And the best way is to be polite and nice and kind and loving and not burn bridges and friendships and family relationships as a result of what we're going through. Because that's what's going on with the Leticia Jameses and the Fonnie Willises of the world. All these black people who are digging in for the Democrats to the point of they're jeopardizing their own self. You cannot be tripping like that. And the guy, Eric Adams over there in New York, he was doing it too. He was going too far. I was like, damn, what the hell is he tripping on? He is really, really absorbing a lot of illegal immigrants into his city and with like not a whole lot of help. He was like, damn, come on now, Biden. And then Biden got mad because he said something. That lets you know that it's the same energy on both sides. It just depends on what it is you're talking about. Because Biden will bear down and lock some shit down on your ass too. And you might look at it as racist depending on what it is or isn't. But we are allowing Eric Adams, black people, just listen to what I'm telling you. Black people are allowing Eric Adams to be done the way he's being done. Because he is a individual soul, just like we all are. And if he don't think the way we think, he doesn't deserve to be attacked and gone after at all in any way. Even though he might decide he's going to work with Trump because Trump is the president and Trump is telling him we're going to follow the federal laws and we're going to deport anybody in your city who is here undocumented. And Eric Adams has got a choice. He could say, F you. I don't care if you're the president of the United States. There's so many other mayors and governors in the country who are doing that. And I really wish the black ones would stop. I really wish the black ones would step back and say, this isn't our fight and this isn't our place. And it's so inappropriate for us to get it caught up in a battle over immigration and over borders when we had to fight so hard to be looked at as citizens in a place that we were in before the people who enslaved us, if that makes any sense to you. But that's a sad thing to still in some ways be fighting for citizenship, because until you have full equality in the country that you live in, you don't really have citizenship. And a lot of people get mad and be like, yes, we do, and we doing so much better than we was. And I'm just saying, you get comfort levels is one thing, and then thriving is another. And we striving to be thriving. That's what we gonna be doing. But let's get into our clip, and we'll you guys are gonna enjoy this one. I did, because I hope it lets any black person who's listening to the Democrats stop. Leticia James is learning a valuable lesson for all of us.
New York Attorney General Leticia James' office is blasting a federal criminal referral, potentially targeting the AG. The Department of Justice is being asked to investigate after the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency claimed that James falsified records for home loans in Virginia. The referral says James listed a Virginia property as her principal residence in 2023, despite holding office in New York. Federal officials also say James misrepresented the number of units at a Brooklyn property and previously listed her father as a spouse for more favorable loans. A spokesperson for James released a statement reading, Attorney General James is focused every single day on protecting New Yorkers, especially as this administration weaponizes the federal government against the rule of law and the Constitution.
She's still fighting with Trump. This administration, you are the Attorney General for New York. That is an elected position. Service your people, do your job, do your thing. And if a Trump case comes up before you and you have to prosecute it, if it's something that has happened, if you're digging up some old stuff because somebody is ready to politically get this man, if it's something current, that being on my plate, that's my priority. But if it's something somebody brought to you, look, we've been doing an investigation back in 1989, and then here again, and you're willing to participate, now look. Now they going back in your past, like they couldn't. Why would you participate instead of just saying, yeah, y'all got him, but I'm not getting caught up in it. And they'll be like, well, no, I have a family. This is Donald Trump level shit. I don't want nobody in my family getting killed, threatened, losing business opportunities. We have it rough enough. I'm good. You know, that's what I'd do. Let an alternate AG do it, or let some other way it get handled, because that's just the AG for New York. Let it go to the federal level, since he's the president. No, that's too hot to handle. That's the kind of a thing that you turn over to the bigger guys when it come to the president of the United States, and you are a black female. Get in a closed door with somebody and remind their ass, I'm a black lady in this country. Are you fucking crazy? I'm not doing it. You're not going to push me out there to go after Donald Trump, and then when they get all fucked up, or if I do something y'all don't like, y'all gonna turn on me too. No, don't do it. Just do not do it. All attorney generals, all news pundits, all black people, stop doing it, because they can't do anything without us. That's one thing they can't do, is imitate us to that level. They need us. They got the marching orders, but they need us to march.
She will not be intimidated by bullies, no matter who they are. Joining us for a closer look at the referral is legal expert Nicole Brunecki. Nicole, thank you for joining us. This referral comes after James launched a civil fraud trial into the Trump organization. Do you anticipate action from the DOJ, including criminal charges?
Good afternoon, Cindy. Thank you for having me. I think we all remember the big, bold civil fraud case that she brought against Trump and prevailed. And she has built her entire career on exposing deception. So right now, it's a very problematic situation for her, because she's...
Yeah, it's quite problematic. You cannot build your career on busting people for being immoral and illegal and doing dirty tricks and behind the scenes stuff that most people wouldn't catch. And then here you are being accused of the same thing, which is all good, because it probably wouldn't even be an issue if you hadn't messed with Donald Trump. You have to think about that stuff before you get involved. You messing with Donald Trump. You messing with Joe Biden. You messing with Bill Clinton. It's certain people who can, but certain people cannot. And as black people in this country, we need to let everybody know that we really are concerned about uplifting our people and moving forward as a group, and in helping our economic opportunities, and home ownership and land ownership and business ownership and smarter kids. Try to talk the government off of some of that money. It's for our children's educations that we ain't got. Yeah, let's get our kids smarter. And the smarter they get, believe me, the fewer Democrats there'll be. When I hear young people arguing for the Democrats, I feel so bad. I feel like we failed them. How are we gonna let some young kids go around fighting and arguing for Democrats? I don't get too mad at the ones who just say, "Yeah, I'm a Democrat," and be like, "All right, we all are." It's like, most of us in our religion, we are what our parents were. I get it. You don't go out and go beyond that, and for obvious reasons. But politics is different. You have to educate yourself, or you will just be a vote. You will just be a vote. And you don't want to just be a vote for them. If all you do is vote and they take your vote and then lose and then come back to you and ask you to go out into the streets and then come back to you and ask you to do something else, it's never going to end. But where is the support for Leticia James now? Is there a coalition of AGs around the country? Just like when Fannie Willis was going through her stuff over there. You can tell, but she was on her damn own. And that's when it's like, damn, that's messed up. They push you to do all this stuff, and then when they get messed up, people start backing away. It's just the way it is. This is why, as attorney generals and operating in the legal field on that level, she should know better. She should know, nah. She should go home and have a nice dinner with her family and get a good look at all of them and be like, nah, I don't want this to change. I love this. I love my life. I got a good job. Nobody's bothering me. I'm not on the news every evening. I'm going to be on the news for this election I'm in, and they're going to be on me because they know I'm a black lady, and the Democrats have the black ladies wrapped around their finger. So they know it's going to be oh my God, and the case is coming up in the, no, hell no. And if you do it, you better keep it on the low. Don't be trying to make that nothing that you campaigning on. I will prosecute Donald. No. We don't need to be doing that. That don't help us. And it don't help you. And you seeing now that it make them dig on you. Oh, they brought you some old news on Donald Trump. And now they digging up old news on you. In the end, he's going to win. He's the president of the United States. Well, I bet if you'd have thought he was going to get reelected, you never would have did this. You're probably thinking like, cool, Biden defeated him. That's how we are as a country. At the end of these 4 years, they're going to be so goddamn tired of Trump. I bet you can run a empty garbage can against him and probably win. They're going to be done. That's how the country rolls. That's how we do it over here in America. That's why black people can't be swinging back and forth like a grandfather clock or some shit. We have to get our shit together and at least stay solid. Stay in the middle there, for real. And when they swing back and forth, let them swing. And when they get to that point where they need 34.5 million votes, here we are. What you got for us? Don't that make a lot more sense? Just to be standing there chilling instead of letting our attorney generals go out there and do it for free. She ain't getting nothing out of this. In fact, she's being harmed for the prosecution of Donald Trump. He's letting her know and everybody watching what not to do. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm telling you, that's what you do not do when you have a fight and a cause that requires you. You're involved in the one thing that hurts us the most, the legal system in the United States. And you're an AG and you going after a white president that you will later regret going after, as we can see here, when you could have been doing something to transform that New York legal mess into something that your people can navigate and get through and hopefully not even have to be involved in. But that's your choice. and so many others. And anybody who is assisting the Democrats is playing party to this kind of stuff. That's getting us nowhere.
Being accused of the same act that she accused Trump of. And I think there's a high probability that they will go after her. Civil fraud is when you sign a declaration or make any statement to obtain some favorable outcome, some benefits of any type. So in this particular case, it would be more favorable mortgage terms. If that is proved, then that constitutes civil fraud.
So the referral mentions other mortgage fraud cases involving public figures in other parts of the country. Does that precedent hold any weight?
Precedents hold weight in terms of federal law. So if this is prosecuted as a federal act and these prior acts were also federal, then it definitely holds a precedent because it pertains to the same statutes.
Now, some of the allegations are decades old. Are there any statute of limitations on mortgage fraud cases?
Yes, there are statutes of limitations on all types of fraud cases because time passes and witnesses disappear, documents disappear, and memories wane. So there is a statute of limitation. I think that is why that last instance where she allegedly declared her husband, her father, her husband, that was mentioned the last in the letter because it's just, I think, inflammatory at this point because it was so long ago.
Yeah, some of the statute of limitations for that kind of a crime will run out. It's the embarrassment of it. Even though they may not be able to bring that part in about her pretending to be married to her father, whatever that was all about. But she still has to let people know, oh, wow. Attorney General, how do you go another day prosecuting anything? And even though you may not get prosecuted for some of these crimes, but they wouldn't be bringing up these complaints, these criminal complaints, if they weren't planning on moving forward on something. And it's just something that could have been easily prevented by us black people. And I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face, staying out of that shit and minding our own business and fighting our own fight. If black people would spend more time caring and pulling and helping. Look, why don't we just stop gangbanging? What if we just stop gangbanging altogether? Wouldn't that just scare the shit out of them? They'll be like, oh my goodness, they were on the park drinking together. Yeah, not shooting. And then eventually not even in the park drinking. Eventually down somewhere working together, producing, making money. And legally where you can't do anything to them. What that must be the scariest thing in the world of white people is for us to make money where they can't arrest us for it by a means that's legal. Even when people do make their money legally and they do all this crazy stuff in their social lives and stuff, it come back to haunt them. We could be so far removed from this by just having a little bit of self-discipline and using the word no way more than we do. We don't use the word no enough. If somebody come to you talking about, hey, you busy Thursday? I need to throw something out at you at lunch. Sure, let's go to lunch. You're sitting at lunch and this person says, I want you to bring Trump up on charges of that stuff he did back in the 90s. And you do it. Shit, no, I ain't doing no, hell no. And excuse yourself and get away from him. Yeah, but shit, no. Why don't they ask some black people to do things that harm us? And why don't they do something to help us? Or why don't they do something in return? Like, okay, if you hook us up with getting Trump, we got to get him out of there. Help us. But give her something for her help. So at least we know it was a deal done or something. Yeah, because you guys did do a deal. And the deal was Leticia James do it, and she did it for free.
Okay, Nicole Bernecki, thank you so much for your insight. Stay with CBS News.
That's where we are, folks. We're like the next level slaves. They still ask us to do things. They still don't give us nothing for it, and we still do it. So it's not very far from where we were with them. I believe that this system has to be changed to the degree that they understand and their children's children understand that we're not slaves anymore. And we're not even in their mind anything that you can relate to a slave, because you can't tell us to do things and look at us less than you are. look at us different. Even look at us. Just if it's that deeply embedded, stay away. There got to be another option other than trying to engage us to run your errands and do things for you, or engage us in violence, or engage us in every way negatively that you could possibly think of, and start to engage us in a positive way. And we need to do better at saying no. And that'll get that going right there. They know it's reciprocal and they ain't just coming for free. They'd be like, whoa, hey, let's get the blacks. No, they're going to want too much. You know, those kind of discussions need to be being had because we too nice, unfortunately. And their biggest fear is we're gonna get our shit together, rise up, and start hanging white people. And that's the farthest thing from our mind. Once you happy, once your needs are met, once your family is fed, what are you going to be trying to go out there in the middle of the night and harm someone just because you don't like the color of their skin? Just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, comment, share, and please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next Black Popcorn.